Hi, Jessica. Welcome. Please have a seat. And before we get started, I want to explain a bit to you about my role and what you can expect from our session. I am a case manager here, trained to support you in identifying your challenges, accessing resources that we may have or can connect you to, and working toward any goals that you may want to work towards to help you achieve them. Everything you share with me is confidential, which basically means that any information that you discuss with me will not be shared with anyone outside of this office or in this office without your consent, except in situations where I am required to by law. So that you'll better understand some of those situations where I may be required to share information is if I feel as though someone is in immediate danger, such as yourself or someone else. If there is a situation where there's suspected abuse or neglect of a child or of another vulnerable adult, if I am legally obligated to provide information um, for a court order, you have an opportunity also to ask me any questions, participate in the planning, of course, because it's for your life and to meet your goals, and also to refuse any questions that you feel uncomfortable about or you don't want to open up about at a certain point in time. My goal is to collaborate with you. I respect your autonomy and help you access resources that fit your needs and only your needs. Do you
Oh,
understand this? And do you have any questions about what confidentiality is or what it means or how it works?
I think I really do have a good understanding. You explained everything really well, and definitely I have a better understanding about what confidentiality is, and I will definitely let you know if I have any questions.
Okay, well, that's great. Let's start by talking a little bit about your current situation and what brought you into our agency today.
Okay.
Okay, so from what I'm reading, it says you're adjusting to some major life changes, a recent separation, you're raising a child, and I'm understanding that there is some stress. Can you tell me a little bit more about those situations that are going on with you in your life?
I can. Um, Overall, I would say that it has been hard and rather challenging because I have not been in this type of predicament before.
Mhm.
And I think with David, he is such a wonderful little boy, but I am really worried because, in terms of his development, his speech, he hasn't started to speak yet. And on top of all of that, I'm still trying to figure out how to manage my finances and looking for work because being now a single mom is not easy.
That's a lot to handle at once. And I commend you for coming in, even to seek help to deal with these matters that you're having to handle at this point in time. It makes sense you're feeling overwhelmed. And how has it been affecting you as far as stress and even in your personal space or personally?
I appreciate you for already letting me be open and you being very receptive. It is helpful. I will not lie to you. I have been drinking at least a few glasses of wine most nights just to try to cope with all the stress that I have been in. And I know that is not the most healthy alternative, but it is what I have been currently using.
Well, I want to thank you first for sharing that information and being honest with me about how you've been coping with some of these stressors in your life. But I would like to say, if you're willing, we can explore some healthier ways to manage stress as a part of our plan.
I would love that.
I do want to ask you, though, how are you managing childcare for David while you're looking for work?
I think right now I would say I'm kind of managing, but overall, I do not have any childcare outside of just me for
Mhm.
right now. And this does make it really hard to apply for jobs as well because I know that time and structure, it's going to be a lot, but also there's no one that is going to be watching him.
Let's take a closer look at the different areas of your life. First, you mentioned concerns about David's speech.
Mhm.
Have you spoken to his pediatrician or considered any type of early intervention plan programs?
Yes, actually, we do have an appointment scheduled for next week, but I am nervous about what they might say because I do not want him to be developmentally behind.
Well, I would say that's definitely a good step in the right direction. Um, what are your goals for David's development, and how can we support you with them?
I really just want the best for David. I want him to just be healthy and to start to talk to other kids his age in terms of their speech. And I think definitely in terms of how you guys can support is maybe, I don't know, just maybe trying to find different ways for him to have childcare that might work in that area.
Okay, you mentioned drinking to manage stress. How often does this happen, and how does it affect your ability to care for David?
So I always make sure that I do drink after David is sleeping. And I will say it has been a reoccurring thing almost every night. And sometimes I will feel guilty for drinking, but when I'm really tired, I'm gonna be honest, it helps me sleep.
Okay. I'm recognizing that these are some very important issues for you or concerns, but I want to know, have you ever considered talking to a counselor or attending a support group for stress or alcohol use?
I actually haven't, but realizing that this can become a problem, I am open to it.
Hmm, okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're open to it, so that at least gives us some things that we can look forward to working on. I also hear that in speaking with you, you're receiving some spousal support, but it's not enough to cover your bills. You also haven't worked in over 5 years. How do you feel about returning to work, and what kind of job would you actually feel comfortable with?
So I know when a lot of people hear 5 years, they're like, what, 5 years? But honestly, a lot has been happening. And I do know that I need to work. But sometimes I just feel lost in what I am capable of doing because it has been so long. But I think getting the groove just back into things, I
Mhm.
would really want to do a part-time job at first. But childcare overall, like I was saying earlier, because it is just me right now, that is my biggest barrier.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. We can explore both job training and childcare resources to make it a little manageable for you and to make the whole situation and transition back into the work force a little less stressful.
I would appreciate that.
Okay. Besides me, what do you feel who do you feel you can rely on for supports? And what I mean by that is, do you have family members, friends? Are there community resources within your area that you have reached out to?
Well, my sister, she does live nearby, and I do have a few friends that will tend to check in, but overall, I just really feel alone in all of this.
Hmm. Well, that's helpful to know. I think that having a strong support system is important, and strengthening your support networks can be part of your plan if you would like to do that.
I would.
Based on our discussion, your key areas seem to be managing stress and coping and learning some coping strategies, including reducing the alcohol use and replacing that with some healthier ways to manage your stress. You also want to support David's development, and addressing his speech concerns is very important to you. Financial stability is high on our list, and I'm sure that if we can achieve that, that would minimize some of the stress, or we hope that it will. And you want to return to work while finding childcare for David. Does that reflect what you want to focus on?
Yes, it exactly reflects on everything that I have mentioned and what I want to improve.
Great. Let's start. We're going to start by thinking about some actionable steps or what we want to do first. For your stress, we can look at counseling and support groups. For David, we can coordinate with healthcare providers and explore early intervention programs. For your finances and work, we can identify job training programs and the childcare solutions. How do these steps sound to you?
They feel really good, and I will definitely need help figuring out all the details, but it sounds like something I can do, especially with your help.
Well, that's what our program is here for, and that's definitely what I'm here for, is to support you in getting your life organized the way that you want to, as well as to meet the goals that you have brought here to work on. Also, we'll break everything down into manageable steps as we work together. That way we can see progress, but also it won't be overwhelming, hopefully, because we're not trying to accomplish everything all at one time, because we know that it will happen, but it takes time, and we'll make small goals if it's okay with you. And as we achieve those goals, you can see progress in what's going on with you and your situation. But to wrap up today, I want to summarize what we've just talked about. We've explored your challenges with stress, childcare, finances, and parenting. We've identified goals for coping. You need supports for David and improving financial stability. Next, what we're going to do in our next steps, we're going to schedule counseling or support for stress and alcohol. We're going to look for some groups that or a counselor first, but actually to support you with the stress as well as the alcohol use. Attending David's pediatric appointment is something you said you have coming up soon, and exploring early intervention resources. So we would do that along with whatever you and the pediatrician have decided. So if you get some resources from the pediatrician, we will also explore additional ones to assist you. Researching job options and your childcare solutions. So I want to give you a card with our next appointment on it. And between now and then, if you should notice anything that stresses you and anything that causes you any additional frustration, you feel free to call me or write the information down, and we can definitely discuss it the next time I see you. Do you have any questions or concerns about what we've discussed today, or anything that you would like to add into our discussion?
No, this feels like a really good start, and I just want to say thank you for implementing all of these different things that we can work on as well.
Well, great. I appreciate your openness today. I thank you for allowing me to work with you, Jessica. I appreciate you for even taking the opportunity to explore what our program has to offer. And I'm hoping that this is a great first step to us reaching all of your goals. And I am looking very forward to the next appointment date that we meet.
I am too. Thank you so much for today.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.